Hi, Leila. Welcome to the Power Talk show powered by Business Talks Weekly. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and joining our channel today. Before we start into our conversation, can you share a bit about your professional journey and what led to the creation of Mind Impact?
Yes. Thank you, Navin, so much for having me here today. I'm so happy to be with you and to discuss with you topics that are really close to my heart. And thanks to each listener that is listening now to the podcast of his or her trust to be here with us today. So, you asked me a question about my journey, right? My journey that leads me to Mind Impact. Okay. So I started my journey when I was born. No, let's not go back to when I was born. But I come from an engineering background. I started my career in consulting, operational consulting at EY for years, and then I moved to strategy consulting for more than 7 years. And in that journey, I burnt out at some point, and that's which is a place where I started asking myself a lot of questions regarding my career, regarding where I wanted to go, and regarding what's next. And seeing working on so many different projects, I was like, I mean, what's the point? I'm working at until midnight every day. So why am I doing all this? And at that point, I burned out, and I met mindfulness that saved me at a personal level. And at that point, I started after beginning the journey with mindfulness, I started transforming the way I see the world and the way I was managing my stress. And people around me noticed that and asked me, like, what did you do? Right? What changed? Like, how come you were stressed out, Leila? Like, always stressed out about deadlines and about work. And now you look wiser, you look more mature, you look, what happened? Like, that was so fast. We didn't see it coming. What happened? And then I started talking about mindfulness and the way it changed me. So people got interested into that field and wanted to do the same transformation. And this is where I started Mindful Academy. That was my first business. That was around teaching people mindfulness for stress reduction, for compassion, for or different personal development fields. That was a side hustle. I wasn't like, if you asked me a question 20 years ago about Leila, will you be an entrepreneur one day? I would tell you, no, I don't think so. I don't think I have the courage to do that. But it came naturally, right?
Yeah.
And I was looking for ideas. So I wanted to be a bit an entrepreneur, but I had no idea on what. And when I started chasing ideas, this came to me naturally because people saw a solution that I brought to their problems. So I started Mindful Academy and I started working with people on a personal level. And this is where it hit me that actually people spend more than 80% of their time at work. So even if you work, like, how many people can I have individually? And what will be the impact of my work? Like, if we work individually and they change themselves, they go back to work and work is still the way it was done before, then nothing will really change. And at that point, I moved from Paris to Casablanca, so from France to Morocco, and I had two little girls on the way. And I asked myself, what is it? No, like, what should I do? So I left the corporate job and started full time on Mindful Academy. And this is where I started missing the strategy part. But I was like, I want to do strategy, but not the old way.
Understood.
So I merged strategy with mindfulness, and this is what led to Mind Impact. So the way
Understood.
I help people now, like founders scale and CEO scales, is scaling their impact without burning out, scaling their business without losing their soul. So there is those two things that led me into thinking how we can scale businesses without burning out the leaders nor their team. And this is where all the concept about, so let's build it together and let's have each person focus on its zone of genius so that the founder is not the bottleneck anymore. And you have a group of people that share the same mission that are able to scale a business and a company. And this is where I started learning from conscious capitalism movement on how to bring value and to receive value from our clients to have the right profit without losing the purpose. And that what led to the $1 Billion Purpose book that summarize a little bit how to move from someone who is completely overwhelmed, who doesn't know how to scale or who doesn't want to scale, but that has a product or service that is really great for the world, and to surround himself or herself with the right people to scale further without burning out. So this is what I help people do today.
So, Leila, can you tell me, like, other than stress and burnout, what are the challenges an entrepreneur face, and how does Mind Impact or you, Mindful Academy, help resolve, address that challenges?
Yes. So now when you start as an entrepreneur, and your goal is to bring a solution to a problem, sometimes and often what I notice is it's a bit like me. It's a problem that someone faces and solves for himself or herself, and then wants to bring to the world because people want it as well. So we are really attached to what we do as founders. And this attachment to what we do as founders is what brings the passion. And this passion enables us to stay on a journey that is completely chaotic. There are ups and downs, ups and downs. So for me, purpose is what at the beginning separates people who stay on the long term in the business and people who give up. Those who come just for business without really clear purpose that they believe in, usually they move from a project to another, from project to another, and each time they see, oh, this is difficult, they move to something else.
Yeah.
But those who really start with something which is purpose driven, they stick with it. And sticking with it is great because it enables them to walk further and then to go through the valley of death and to go from the other way. But then what can happen is that they start pouring all their soul into the business.
Yes.
So that's everything that they started with. So they want to solve a problem and they give everything. They give their days, they give their nights, and they're so attached to this product or to the service that they forget themselves, they forget their lives, their kids sometimes, their husband, their wife, their everything which is around them. And when you're so attached to this business and you give everything to the business and the business doesn't work, it's like everything around you crushes.
Yeah.
And when you feel that you can lose yourself there. So one of the key thing is to be attached enough so that you keep going, but then learn to create a certain relationship with this business where you're not the bottleneck. It means like your business doesn't rely only on you to grow. Because if it does, you will not be able to sleep. You need to serve your clients. You need to build a product. You need to do all those things. So this is a big challenge that founders face. The second one is to have joy come also from somewhere else, to not forget yourself in the process, because otherwise you become so obsessed that when the danger is there, you don't even see it, right? And the third one is when you're on the scaling phase, would that be a startup going on Series A to Series D or someone who is bootstrapping? But when your business involves not only you, but other people that you need to bring in within your business, this is where it could be dangerous to not bring the right people.
Yes.
And this is what people are afraid of. Like, this is my baby. And my baby, I'm going to give it to someone else or to share it with someone else. So this person, if this person doesn't share my value, if this person doesn't understand my mission, the way I want to raise this baby, the way they will like, they will cost me money and they will be overhead and not assets. At the beginning, I recruit them to be assets to help me scale. And they start being overhead. And I start telling myself, my God, like, if I just go back to being just me with the business and using AI and stuff, then I will be so much ahead, which could be a mistake because, you know, your business is not supposed to be you and you get back to it, be attached to it. So those are the key struggles that founders face that I help them with.
Understood. Understood. So, Leila, your business is more of a purpose-driven business. So, who are your target audience? Are you targeting corporates, leaders, non-profits, or government bodies?
So each person that's identified herself himself of being purpose driven is my clients. And this is why I put it like really purpose driven. Otherwise, I would say I work with corporates, I work with individuals, I work because the thing is, I started my career working with CEOs of Fortune 100 companies. Those are the people I know and that I work with and that I have like kind of credentials, and I built solutions that had an impact. So I know how to work with those people, and I've done this for more than 10 years, right? And then I have the experience as a solopreneur that just started. And then I have the experience as someone who is scaling and recruiting a team because this is the phase I'm on. And what I want people to recognize themselves into is not the stage of which their business is. I want to connect the dots of those people. So whatever size of your business, what's really important for me are people who want to work on their business and on themselves at the same time. Because when I say purpose driven, it's like it's me and it's my business and it's the relationship that we have together, right? So people that feel this strong connection to their business, to their mission, I want that to be a fuel that helps them scale, because mission driven people are the ones that are able to use my method for their businesses to scale further than standard businesses. Why? Because they have this fuel, which is mission, that attract the right people, and this is what I help them with, right? They attract the right people and they know how to collectively work together to make the business scale. So if you have this intention of like, I have a mission that is bigger than me, that's not only serving me, but it's serving the world. And I think that if I share this with the world, then people will say, oh my God, I recognize myself. I recognize myself. I recognize myself. And then gather those people together. We will build a business that is stronger than anyone else. Because when one of us is sick, there is a collective that works. When one of us doesn't have ideas, there is a collective that works. And we all work toward the same goal. Those are the kind of people I want to work with. The ones who are what I call like the dolphin as the shark way. So my clients are not sharks, right? The sharks, they want to go alone. They want to do things by themselves. They never want to sleep. And actually people feel threatened around them. But what happened to the sharks is like, even they succeed, they may feel lonely. They feel that nobody loves them. They don't feel that they belong. And at some point, they even ask themselves, why did I start this in the first place? Dolphins are different. Dolphins are people who want to scale, who want to go with the wave, what I call like going with the wave, and want to go together. They want to scale business with joy. They want to do things like they act as mirrors. Have you ever seen like dolphin play with a kid?
Yeah,
It's so
yeah.
funny. Like they act as a mirror and they adapt their business and they adapt themselves to their market, to their team. And then it doesn't feel like they're working. It feels like they're in a flow, and money flows as well into their business. Like, oh my God, this is so fun. This is what I help people with, right? But in order to have this, it means like they know what they're doing. They know that they have a bigger mission that is not only centered on them and that they are hungry, like, oh, shark is hungry, I want to eat. No, they are playful and they play together to go somewhere. This is the kind of business I want to help people with.
Wonderful.
And this is the kind of people that are attracted also to my work.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So, Leila, what is the biggest challenge to scale such an impactful business? What is the biggest challenge that you have faced yet?
Yes. The biggest challenge is so there are different challenges at different stage of the business. And this challenge change, but there is something that is say the same. It's like going on a spiral. You have the feeling that you're in the same place, but actually you're not in the same place. You're in the same place, but few meters or few kilometers like up, right? At the beginning, it's the product market fit. And the product market fit is like product or service market fit. It's like, do I have enough people that are interested to what I'm offering to even call it a business, right? So this is the first challenge. What should I offer? And this, when I said like there is something that goes in common, it's the inner work that is in common. Because when you always try to understand what people want and you like go into people and that you don't look inside. It's like, why am I even doing this? Why is I'm picking this product or this service instead of anything else? Why people will come to me and not come to someone else? If you don't do this inner work to who I am, what's what I offer it, and how it's relevant that I'm offering that, and though do have any traction, though this is thing I'm solving have any traction. If you don't do that, then you will keep chasing people. You will not attract your clients, you will chase them. So you will spend your time on LinkedIn, sending like outreach and say, oh, hello, I offer this. Do you want it? I offer this. And then you will just burn out and say like, nobody's getting interested by my offering. But the real question there is like, are you interested in your offering? Is it something that you really believe in? Is it a solution to a real problem? How would you define this problem? How is it painful? How the solution is bringing a solution to that? This work is really, really strong. And then as you start scaling, so when you get some traction and you have clients and you have revenues, when you so believe in your product, what you do is like you sell it. You sell, you sell, you sell, you sell, you sell. So this is phase two. And phase two, like you sell like nobody else because you're so convinced that people jump on you with you on a call and say, oh my God, I want this because it's so clear. And this is the phase two. So it's how to get there, how to get clear enough so that people don't have any hesitation on who you are and that this is the right product or service and that they should do it with you. This is the
Understood.
second phase.
Understood.
And then once you reach this phase, you have sold so many products or services, but then are you able to deliver on it? Because money is in the back end. We think that money is in the front end, is like getting more and more clients. But if clients come in and there is no great service, there is no great product, then they will leave as soon as they come in and they will tell people around them that what you offer is a crap. So you don't want to get into this stage. And when you want to onboard and serve more people, and you want your product or service to be at high quality, but you cannot duplicate yourself, this is where you start onboarding more and more people within your business. And the struggle in here is like the thing that you are doing, are the people that you are recruiting going to do it with the same quality, with the same love of the product and the service, with the same mission, with the same intention, with the same maturity? When one is doing HR, one is finance, and one is risk, and one, do those people, if they work together, would that be something that people feel it's the same company, that they're talking to the same company? Would they feel like they're talking to this one and this one and this one, and then it's complete mess inside?
Yeah.
And this is the, for me, the best scaling issue is that is being able what you did being alone. And then the spiral is like being 10 people. So the first people is sometimes your friends, sometimes people that you know very well. And then when you move from 10 to 100, then those people, you know them a bit less and probably you're involved a bit less in the recruitment. So how you keep growing without losing the soul of your business, losing its core, is the key problem. And why I said at the beginning, it's a spiral, because it's always, is the solution that I'm bringing to my business with the actual maturity that I have the right solution, and it's bringing the right service so that people can come and also come again. Because when I say money is in the back end, people, when they come the first time, it's more easy to sell them another thing.
Yeah.
Then another thing, then another thing. So you don't build your back end, you will not be able to scale exponentially. But when you build a back end, when you have a first product that goes with something else, and then a package, and then a big experience, and then you have a long customer lifetime value. And this is what enables companies to scale from valuation, from recurring revenue. All those kind of things comes from the bigger and longer lifetime client lifetime value. And this is a back end work. And this
Absolutely.
back end work is a teamwork, because you cannot be able to do everything yourself. And the more people you would have, the more technicity you would need to go into to be able to deliver this high level of service at scale.
Absolutely. It's building a culture across the complete organization. So, Leila, you said something about phase two. Can you give me a case study or a story where you have helped a leader complete the phase two and now still they are seeing the success?
So is the phase two that where they're starting to recruit, or was it?
Can you give me an example, like, how Mind Impact has helped a leader or a company who achieve the numbers?
Yes. So I had a client who actually, she was directly projected into phase two. She didn't do the phase one of the business. So as you know, sometimes you can have CEOs that just come into a business and that didn't belong to him, and then they need to structure it around and so on. So at the beginning, when she just arrived, she saw that people were leaving, and a lot of people were leaving. And she didn't understand why. But then she didn't ask. And when I said, like, so what is actually the culture of your business? What are you bringing? How is it different from how they were working before? Why they choose you? And I was like, no, I don't have time to discuss this. I just need to bring the processes the way I was doing before in my old company. This is how we were working. We were having lots of processes. So now I need to process this business so that I don't talk to all the people all the same times. I cannot do it. I will just do it the way I was doing it before. And I let her. We didn't start working together at that time. So people started leaving, and she was like, okay, maybe I need to make some like to have people being more engaged. Let me do some team buildings. So she started doing team buildings. And the team buildings, the energy goes up. But then few weeks later, the energy came back down into how it was before. So it was not a transformational process. It was just energy, like when you eat sugar,
A
when you
spike.
eat sugar, like spiking in energy, and then it goes back to where you are. It doesn't transform you sustainably. So she went back like a few months earlier this year. And at that point, I just finished like writing the book, Billion Dollar Purpose. And she hadn't read it before. And she was like, okay, maybe Leila, let's try something. Let's try. She was not even coming. So when I come in, I was like, let's understand what I call the voice of stakeholders, what the clients are saying about the business, what your team is saying about your business and you, what the society is saying about this business and this change that's happening. What is your suppliers telling about the business? What are the investors that put you in this role saying about this business? Take that as information. So we started doing that. And the insight that we found out were completely like crazy, because she found out that the way she was working was not at all aligned with the purpose or the way the team used to work or the way the customers of this business want to be served. So she needed to unlearn what she learned and then to humbly understand from the team the way this business operates. So she needs first to understand the culture before trying to change the culture. And going back to understanding the culture, the clients felt understood, team felt heard, investors felt secured because they say, okay, now she gets what we want. And suppliers feel also like trusted because they, oh, this new person, is she going to continue working with us? We don't know. We don't say. Are we going to provide? So this feeling of belonging helped her connect to the culture of what she was in, and then ask herself, so what am I here to bring?
The purpose.
And she asked them the question then, like, why? Like, okay, so this is what you were doing. So what is the problem? What is the actual problem? Why did you bring me here? And then when she understood that, she solved it. So instead of like, she had 40% of people who left, but then the 60% of people who stayed, they stayed longer and they have their build. So she was able to stay with a leaner team, and to actually, what she does is like she does 1.25%. So 125% performance means like a quarter more by half people. So she let people go, and then when they went, the one who stayed, they had a better performance. But how they did it is like they filled the blank. So now that they knew that all together they were going into the same direction, and they knew what each person's role was, and they knew that all of them were important to achieve the results, then they walked their path. And they became more responsible because she was not here to tell them what to do. Because if you recruit people and tell them what to do, you will always have people coming to you to ask you what to do. So she changed this culture. People felt responsible, and they were responsible, and they are building the business with her now without her having to do everything, burning out and not understanding the market.
Wonderful. Nice story. One final question, Leila. What would be your advice to the upcoming entrepreneurs to not face burnout and stress?
I would say listen to your heart, listen to your guts, but stay humble.
Right.
What it means like when you seek advice or when you seek support, don't do it in a way that you how to say it, you give the responsibility to someone else. I don't want this responsibility, you take the decision. No, own your decision. So take this responsibility, right? So this is what I call listen to their guts. But at the same time, consider the solutions that are offered to you and listen to each person because they may have an idea that you wouldn't have thought about. And that will help scale your business and also liberate you from the weight of having to do it all by yourself.
Thank you so much, Leila, for joining us today at a channel, at a podcast. Thank you so much for giving us time.
Thank you, Navin. It was a pleasure being with you today.